In the middle of Good Evening Ulster, as an excuse, I thought, love to go to London, had a look at the frocks and everything. But I'd also made an LP, which I, to this day, am quite proud of, actually. And I thought, if I take half a dozen of those with me to London, I'll drop into Radio 2, because I liked Radio 2 and listened to it at home. Rang up the big controller of Radio 2, which I wouldn't do these days. I said, could I drop in and have a cup of tea? Went in and sat down, and really we talked about the music first of all, and that's really what I was thinking of. And then he said to me, do you listen to Radio 2 a lot? I said, I do. I actually really like it, you know. And he said, what's wrong with it? And I said, well, for one thing, you haven't got any women on your whole network. And he just sort of nodded and he said, So anyway, that was that. I thanked him very much, hoped for the airplay, which I think it got a little bit of, but not very much. And a year, maybe a year and a half later, that man came looking. Some people in Northern Ireland couldn't get over the fact that I was giving up a very successful television programme to go to a radio programme. But of course, the difference between a region and going national is enormous.
Order and chaos awaits you upstairs. You don't look frazzled.
Well, if you're talking about Terry Wogan as being order and chaos, I now take over his studio so that I can get all the stuff ready. But, you know, it's the old story that I've thought about it for a long time, and I'm dying to get at it now, so it's nice to see you, though.
Well, and you. Welcome back to the Wireless, and we'll see you upstairs.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
Gloria was going network radio based in London. Very difficult thing to do, especially for a mother. And she had to uproot and go to London.
Gloria Hunniford.
It just happened at the right time. Somebody moved those pieces. Because if it had been the previous year, my older children would have been doing their exams and we couldn't have gone. So Dawn in particular said to me, you'll be murdered to live with if you don't try it. So let's do it.
On this Monday, the 18th of January, it's a very good afternoon to you. I must say I've been looking forward to this day for quite some time now. I'll even promise you that I'll answer to anything. Honey Glory Ford, as Aloysius Wogan calls me. Gus Honeybun, as one of his listeners calls me. Gail Honeycutt, Gloria Honeypot. I don't care what you call me, as long as you listen between 12 and 2 every day.
Gloria Hunniford on Radio 2.
Hello and a very good afternoon. Here I am. I'm ready, I'm willing, and I hope I'm able to take you through right until 3:30 today.
It allowed people to think that anyone outside of central London could actually broadcast. A woman could do it and hold an audience, more importantly. It wasn't like she was there for 5 minutes. You held the audience, people came back to listen to you. That was trailblazing, absolutely it was, and she was at the forefront of that.
Well, we're going off to see Gloria Hunniford to do her radio programme in the afternoon at Broadcasting House and having a
Auntie Gloria.
Auntie Gloria, yes.
Here she is. Hi, good to see you. All right?
Women broadcasters were still quite rare then, hosting one of the big Radio 2 network shows of the day.
And I'm very pleased to welcome Julie Walters to the studio. When you received your award, or at least when you went over for the nominations...
Gloria wasn't surrounded by a great phalanx of feminist broadcasters, it was just her. And to succeed in the way that she did, she would have had to have utter determination and self-belief.
Gloria Hunniford.
That's me. Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
She was the first ever female broadcaster to be given her own show on BBC Radio 2. I mean, she tells stories about even, you know, the first time going into Broadcasting House and there not even being a ladies' loo. So they had to change the signs on the male door to a unisex door, and she'd be going in there and, you know, Jimmy Young or Terry Wogan would be coming out of the cubicle.
Oh, look at the filth and dirt of this place. Broadcasters, I suppose, must be the dirtiest...
I get that's all true what they said about you. You really are the house foreman in the basement of BBC, Terry Wogan. Your secret is out.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's an honest day's toil.
How many hours do you spend down here every day?
Now, you've got to remember that I really didn't know many people at all in London. So Terry was a godsend to me. But the way I think he got me known was by calling me names. So he called me Gus Honeybun, first of all. Everything under the sun that you can think. Grievous Madeley called me in the end.
Hello, Mrs. Jones.
Swing your brush then.
I miss Terry to this day because I obviously loved his Irish humour. I loved the way, I mean, if I said to somebody, did you wash under your oxters today, they wouldn't have a clue what I was saying over here.